60 minutes after the hour, the barbaric terror group ISIS is sweeping through Iraq and Syria, but new reports suggest it could also be eyeing up the United States border by conspiring with the Mexican drug cartel. And Texas Governor Rick Perry says it may be too late to stop them.
The condition of the border from the standpoint of it not being secure and us not knowing who is penetrating across, that individuals from ISIS or other terrorist states could be, and I think that it's a very real possibility that they may have already used that.
Wow. Well, our next guest is trained U.S. Border Patrol agents on Islamic militantism, and his name is Frank Wuko. He's a retired naval officer and CEO of Red Mine Solutions. Thanks for joining us, Frank.
Thank you, Anna.
Now, 3 years ago in May, you went down to McAllen, Texas. You did some training. And what were the Border Patrol agents telling you their #1 concern was?
At that time, in 2011, they were telling me that their #1 control was what they call OTMs, or other than Mexicans, and specifically Islamic militants. If we recall back to 9/11, the pre-9/11 period, you know, the 9/11 hijackers used Florida as a base of operations because they could shave their beards and they blended in very well with the Latino population.
When you can think back, that was 3 years ago, and look how much ISIS has grown just since January when the president called them JV. I want you to see what you make of this. This is a quote from the Pentagon spokesperson, John Kirby. He says, "I've seen no indication that they are coming across the border with Mexico. We have no information that leads us to believe that." But Frank, we had Michael Scheuer, the former head of the CIA Osama bin Laden unit, on earlier, and he says just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not happening. There's a lot going on at the border that we don't see.
Well, there are lots of things that happened that we had no indications of prior. 9/11 is a perfect example of that. As I said, when I was down in McAllen, Texas, looking at the border, looking across the Rio Grande, it is a sieve, and I think if ISIS is as forward-thinking as they seem to be and as well-trained and prepared as they seem to be, it would be a big assumption that they wouldn't be using our southern border and blending in with all of the folks from Mexico and Central America who are coming across.
When we hear about hundreds of ISIS militants potentially having American passports, European passports, British passports, how concerned does that make you?
Extremely concerned. I mean, again, this is, it seems to be a far leap for White House spokespersons and Pentagon spokespersons when they're being asked this question because it's potentially very embarrassing to them. But I think you would have to be sort of a dumb ISIS terrorist not to exploit the southern border when it's so available to you as a point of entry.
So when you hear John Kirby from the Pentagon saying that, is that us putting our head in the sand? Do we need to be more vigilant with this?
Well, Admiral Kirby has a job to do, and you know, he's an admiral in the U.S. Navy, and you know, he's got bosses appointed over him, and his job is to, you know, sort of balance the message from the Pentagon and the administration. It's not an easy job, and I don't envy. I don't envy it.
Not his job in particular, but with policy, or do we need to be more vigilant?
Absolutely, we need to be more vigilant down on the southern border for this reason and many others. I mean, the ISIS terrorists and al-Qaeda before them have long had plans to use our southern border as a point of exploitation, and they've been present in Mexico and Latin America for a number of years. Yeah,
exploiting a weakness that we've had for a long time. Frank Wuko, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.